Well, you've done it. You finally made it to a speaking engagement as an author. What do you talk about? Hey there, welcome to Pen to Paper. I'm Leah Lindeman, author of the Canadian Reminiscence series. Today I'm going to talk about the talk that you would give as an author, whether you are hosting your own book launch party or you've been invited to give a speech at a author speaker presentation. You want to decide, what am I going to talk about? First of all, unless you've been given a designated time to speak, this is probably a little bit more specifically geared toward a book launch and you are expected to give a talk. But even then, if you have been invited to give a speaking engagement, definitely find out how long they want you to speak. But if they just want you to say a few words, 10 minutes max, maybe 15, stretching it. The sweet spot would be 8. You don't want to go on and on and on. People's attention spans are definitely low enough that if you go too long, unless it's designated, then you might bore them to death, unless you're an amazing speaker. But let's move on. Okay, so the talk. First of all, when you are giving a speech of any kind, it's easy as an author to be so excited that, oh my goodness, I put out this book, I did this, I published, this is my writing journey, I want everyone to know about it, blah, 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 blah. It's very, very exciting. I agree with you. And for me as an author who's been through the process a few times, whenever authors talk about it, I'm excited for them. It's fun and interesting. However, not that you can't put any I statements in there, but you definitely don't want the emphasis to be on you, even though it kind of is. But you don't want to treat it that way. So you're going to trim off the you in your talk. Not that there can't be any you, just like whenever you get a large piece of roast or a piece of meat and you need to trim off the fat, you're not going to take off every single little piece of fat, the you, but you're going to take off the huge pieces of fat that maybe there's a lot of you, or me in this speech, and not enough about service to your people, your attendees. So it is about you. But when you get up on that stand or that stage or that front and you make it all about you, then why are they listening to you? Unless they're a hardcore fan of yours that wants to hear every single word flow off your lips and treat it like pearls, maybe that's the case, that they want to hear all about you. Or if maybe all the attendees were clones of you, they'd want to hear about you, but they're not. They want to get some value out of your talk too. So the first way to do that is to trim off a lot of the you. And guess what? When you do that, when you make the focus less on you, you can give an overall general view of, what your writing process was to write the book, but don't go into a lot of detail. If they are more interested in that detail later on, usually after a talk, there's a question and answer period. If you don't trim off the you and you literally give them all the details of your writing journey and writing the book and blah, 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 there won't be any questions to ask you during question and answer period, and you're going to look kind of silly up there. You want to give enough for them to have a taste, to mull over and chew on the cud, per se, but then leave them with a little bit of mystery, so that when it comes to Q&A question answer period, they're going to have questions for you. They want to know more about you because you've drawn them in and you've left out a lot of the you. A is for acknowledge. What are you acknowledging? You're acknowledging their presence. Now, Perhaps many of them are avid supporters. They love to read your work. Maybe some of them were dragged there by a friend or a spouse and they're not too sure what they're doing there. Acknowledge them anyways. Thank them for their presence. And then for those who are there who you know are supporting you and loving your work and avid readers of yours, thank them for that. Always start off by being grateful for where you are and the blessings that you have received through these amazing experiences, like getting to speak and do an author talk at a presentation somewhere. Now, the most important one is going to be lace in your message into your talk. Okay, so I said trim off the you. What is there left to talk about? In every book that's written, whether there's nonfiction or fiction or memoirs or even comedy, there's some sort of maybe theme that you're trying to impart to your readers, or an idea that you want to share with your readers, or an inspiration that you want to inspire your readers with. There's some reason, there's some raison d'être underneath your book that you want to share and impart. This is what you're going to focus on. This is the goal that you're giving your audience. This is what's going to bless them. And they're going to be like, wow, it wasn't just all about the author. They weren't just talking about themselves. They were actually feeding my soul in a way that maybe I needed to hear. Or they're giving me some sort of service, or they're helping me in some way, and I didn't even realize that they would. You want to wow them with your message. Why did you write the book? How do you hope it helps your readers or inspires your readers or teaches your readers something? And this is the bulk of your message. This is how you can tie in a little bit of maybe what your story is about, or whatever you wrote, whether it's nonfiction or fiction or memoir, and you're going to tie it into real life experiences that your attendees go through. Now, maybe not every single one of them have gone through the very specific experiences you're going to put out there, but they can empathize and sympathize and understand these experiences through either their own or their own loved ones. And so you're going to take real life experiences and you're going to draw and connect the dots to what your book's message is all about. And then there's going to be that aha moment where they're going to realize, wow, this book is just a deeper level than, hey, I wrote a book, buy my book because I wrote it. Do you see now that it's less superficial and it's more about service to the people that you want to serve? So definitely, when you are preparing your talk, your message, focus more on this. Definitely do this and this, but this is the bulk of your message. And last but not least, I am going to misspell, and it's okay. You can call me out on it. You're going to close with a K, or you're going to do a call to action with a K. Now, you would think, well, duh, they're at a book signing or they're at a book talk and I have my books for sale after, duh, they're going to come and buy a copy. Not duh. Maybe, remember I talked about those people that were like, dragged to come by their friend or their spouse or whatever. Or maybe they came alone. And when fear and anxiety cripple people in a social situation and they're just looking around, they have no clue, what to do. And they're like, well, I don't know if I want to go talk there. I don't know if I should, what should I do? They just leave. That's kind of like fight or flight. And a lot of people take the flight path. So if you know how to bring in people well, you've embraced them with the message. And now you're calling them to yourself and you say, hey, thank you for coming again. If there's food, go get some food. And if not, I would really love to see you come to my book table. I'd love to chat with you and, talk books or whatever. And come, you can get a copy and I'll sign it for you. You're giving them an exact, detailed ask. If you do not ask, you will not receive. So if you don't do your call to action, you don't close well, maybe a good bunch will come to your table. But if you call to action what exactly you're expecting of them, there's a higher chance that more people will come to your table and talk to you because you've embraced them and now you are asking something of them. And that's it. This is very much up to your personality, your humor, how you want to construct that. But please keep in mind these talking points for your author talk, and it will serve you well. I hope that this has been a help to you. Which one do you find is more helpful to you, or do you forget most? And if you have done author talks, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, or maybe you have another thought to share. Please share that in the comments below. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next week with more writing tips and advice.